Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. Never forget a special moment for the important people in your life. Present Gifting is a free reminder service for birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and more. Register for free at presentgifting.com. Laura Gillot and the Gillot Home Team have supported The Experience since the beginning, delivering the key to home ownership through stellar customer service, integrity, and joy. Learn more at teamgillot.com. Your trusted mortgage professional is just a click away. Learn more at capitalmortgagesource.com. Cancer touches everyone. Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer in-person event will be October 2nd through the 4th, 2026 in Garrison, New York. Learn more at perspectivesoncancer.com. And now let's get on with the show. Yeah! Well, we got Kermie in early this time, and I want to say thanks to Nancy Bakke, Best Entrepreneur Solutions. She is one outstanding business coach consultant that just a brief conversation with her will let people know, oh my gosh, this is the person I need to work with.
Yeah, we are so blessed with amazing sponsors. And this morning, Present Gifting, Capital Mortgage Source, and Nancy Bakke. Nancy is such an amazing friend and has helped me with my business, and really somebody that you need to reach out to. And so, yeah, all the contact information is there for our sponsors. We appreciate you reaching out to them. And that really is what keeps us going, right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. We are supported by sponsors and by gifts. So people can go to local.theexperience.video. That's our website. And on the screen, there's a QR code. You can scan that, hit the tip jar. And if you support this and the great guests, as we say, we only talk to the most remarkable people on the planet.
Well, yeah, on the whole planet. That's
so right. They're pre-vetted. When people come in here and like, oh my gosh, who should I talk to next?
Yeah. We say, are you one of the most remarkable people on the planet? Well, then you can be on our show. Well, It is so great. I have the most remarkable co-host on the planet and friend, and that's Mr. D. Scott Smith. And I'm so thankful for you, Scott. And again, just so thankful. We were having a nice chat backstage and put an update up this morning. So thankful for everybody's prayers, and things are going good. And with my health journey and my cancer journey. So thank you for that. And I'm just thankful to God every morning, Scott. Thankful for life.
Yeah, absolutely. What have you got going on, Russ, coming up?
Well,
because
I'm pretty
there's
excited.
A ton of stuff going today, even.
Yeah, you and I've got a meeting today, this morning after this, new anthology that we're writing. And I've got my chapter all ready to go. It's going to be out probably after the first of the year. But right now we're putting it all together. We're having a meeting today. It's called Intentional Perspective When Life Gets Messy. And I tell you, all of us know that. All of us know that life gets messy. And I've had a pretty messy life lately. But you know what? We all have it. And so what do you do? What kind of perspective do you keep when life gets messy? So it'll be good, right, Scott?
Yeah. The great thing about the anthology is you get a lot of different perspectives. You're going to find something that you can relate to from many of the different authors in there. But it's not just someone's personal story. It's actually giving personal, or I'll say, some actual things that you can do to get through these types of things. So when you have that traumatic event in your life, you can say, wow, they went through something like I did. this is what they actually did. This is some practical advice, some practical steps, some things that I can apply to my life. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to in this book is those stories and what would you actually do to overcome them?
Right. And won't go into it right now, but for those of people that were praying for you, Scott, your life has been a little messy and out of the norm over the last few months. And so, same thing. We've all got stuff, all of
Mhm.
us. None of us have the corner on the market of bad things happening. And so I think, like you said, having so many good perspectives is
Mhm.
just a blessing to have. And
Yep.
speaking of perspectives, we've got a great guest this morning. Rita Ernst is going to be here shortly, but I just want to remind everybody that we're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, for your viewing and listening pleasure. That's right. We go live at 7 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time. And then it sits on LinkedIn and YouTube forever, Facebook for 30 days. And then it converts to audio podcasts, all of your favorites, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, on and on and on. All the big ones we're on. And so we just really hope that you will, wherever you like to watch or listen, please engage, comment, like, share, let people know what you think about the experience and ask us questions today, right,
Mhm.
Scott?
Absolutely. And engaging is the best way. And you can follow us on any of those channels. Again, go to local.theexperience.video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the tip jar, learn more about where we've got books and different shows going on. And I just want to give a shout out uh, to to Carol Diaz and Bill Boone. They're putting together the Ideas to Income Summit. It's all about turning what you know into income. And I get to be one of the presenters. That's coming up August 17th through 21st. It's an online summit, but the cool thing is it's free. I put the comment out there. People can go to the Ideas to Income Summit.com page slash DSSM. That's Dennis Scott Smith M, probably for MBA. But anyway, and register for free. And I tell you what, if you register, that'll help me out because, it's showing support. But it doesn't cost anything, and you'll get all kinds of great access to information. And in fact, people that participate in my workshop get digital copies of two books that I've written and two very helpful academic research papers that will help you live an intentional life because that's what I'm talking about, and it really fits in with the book that Russ is leading coming up this fall.
Well, I'm excited about that, Scott. I signed up yesterday, so I'm all
Thank you.
registered. And so, yes, very exciting. And you know what? So many things happening, but I think it's time to get our guest Rita in and find out what's happening in her life, the amazing things that she's doing. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, let's up the awesomeness and bring a
There.
remarkable person on stage.
Here we go. Okay, we got to give her the big intro, so I got to get myself ready. All right, here we go.
The crowd
The
goes.
crowd is going wild, Rita.
Pocket and carry you with me to be my hype people all the time. And awesome. I will take that all day long. Thank you very much.
I dig it. I dig it.
It is so great to have you here. We're going to start off with the basics. Who in the world is Rita? What are you up to?
Well, hello. I just want to say Gary Spencer showed up from the UK to listen in and join us in the chat. So great to see you here, Gary. Gary is a friend I made on LinkedIn. I'm telling you, people complain about LinkedIn all the time, and I do not get it because I have the most awesome colleagues and connections through that platform. I'm an organizational psychologist, which just means I'm a geek for understanding how it is that people come together in the workplace to create awesomeness, because that's what work should be. Work should not be just the place where you make an income. 90,000 hours is what the average person spends in the workplace in their lifetime. And that is just too many hours for it to suck or just be a method to make money, right? And it should be a place where you are living your fullest potential and helping the people around you do the same. And that's what my work, my purpose, my mission is all about.
So, Rita, when we were backstage, you mentioned that you are in Kentucky, and I can't
Yes.
think of anything more stereotypical than a horse uh, on the wall behind you. So, well done in your staging. When I got out of college and I got into the workplace, I was working in a bank, and I had a finance degree, so it made sense. I'm working in a bank. And I'm just a dumb kid. I don't know anything. And I'm off at these meetings with other people. Everyone hated their job. Everyone hated their job. And at, 24, 25 years old, that's what I just thought. I thought, you graduate college, you get in a job and you hate it. And 35 years later, you retire and die. So give us some options.
Well, I was just revisiting a book. I have a client that reminded me of the book The Leap, and I was just listening to that again. I love listening to audiobooks and revisiting those concepts, and just being reminded once more that so much of the pain that we experience in our life is because of our own resistance. It's the perspective that we choose. And I can't help but look at Russ's cancer journey. And it's just the perfect example, right? Of perspective that you choose and what the difference that it makes. You could spend your time railing against the universe, railing against God for why do I have to do this cancer journey again? I've already done it enough times. It's somebody else's turn, right? You could have all of this resistance. And instead, Russ is like, okay, well, this is the next path I'm supposed to take. So here we go. And so we do feed off the energy of other people around us. So Scott, you're naming something very important. When the people around you, and I see this a lot in the teams that I work in, they fall into this habit of complaining, and complaining becomes commiseration. And this is at the core of my book, Show Up Positive. And commiseration eventually becomes the culture of destruction inside of your organization, where morale just completely plummets because people have fallen into this pattern because it is our nature. And this is the thing that we have to understand. It is not our nature to be positive individuals. It is our human nature to see the flaws, to see the problems, and to spend all of our mental energy figuring out how to overcome those problems. And when we are not feeling in control enough to overcome those, then we sink into this place of victimhood in the face of those problems. But it is our natural tendency to look and say, where are the threats? And because we are not escaping greater prey any longer for the most of us have food security. We have housing security. For the people that don't have those basic level things, yes. I mean, that's the stuff that they are worried about. And they're not, they might be complaining about a job, but they're doing it because it's getting them to these basics they need. But for those of us that have already met those basic, minimal, low pyramid needs, right? Then for us, the threats become our relationships with other people. The threats become the uncertainty of the next change that is coming in our workplace, in our lives, in our relationships. And we fixate on those things automatically. But you have the choice. You can notice yourself and you can redirect your energy. So we do have autonomy and power and agency over those things, as Russ is living proof of. He shared his journey with all of us that follow him. We do have the agency to overcome that. And what I am trying to do in the world is get out and teach that to people. And the place where I teach that is in the workplace.
Well, that is so awesome, Rita. And first of all, I love the title, Show Up Positive. You know, showing up is half the battle because so often we, like Scott says, we isolate and there's issues. When you isolate, problems happen. And so, yeah. Do you guys hear that all of a sudden?
I know. I was just like, did you build your house over the subway or something?
Yeah, I don't know. That's yeah.
I swear to God, every day there is somebody adjacent to me who is getting their lawn done, and they get out with those big blowers, and it shouldn't even be picking up on the microphone. That is how loud it is. But yesterday was my live show, and it had the exact same thing. And I'm like, how many? I mean, I only have 2 neighbors, but these,
and they're over there like, no, don't start the blower up yet. Don't start the blower up. Okay, she's at the microphone. Go ahead and turn it on, guys.
Oh my God, isn't it true?
It's life, and again, life happens and then you choose, just like you said, every day of your life, show up, life happens, and then you get to choose where you go from there. And, I have made very intentional choices and very intentional perspective on my life. I love oh, brother, I'm spacing his name all of a sudden. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but there is a Craig Groeschel, a great pastor based out of Oklahoma, that basically, says every day of your life, you move towards the things that you focus on, right? What you're thinking about and your most thoughtful thoughts is the direction you move with your actions. So choose positive things in your life and you'll move in a positive direction. I have been very intentional about what's going to happen to me. When I first started the cancer journey, I made the choice that, well, you know what? This could be the end of this life, and I could be moving on, but I am going to live every moment and not think that it is. I'm going to believe that God's not done with me yet. I'm going to believe that there's still positive things ahead, and I'm going to choose life intentionally. And so when I walk into the oncologist, I'm ready for them to tell me things are going to be awesome. That's what I expect. But if they tell me that things aren't so good, I've had 3 times when cancer's been gone and then it came back. Cancer's been gone, and then this last time the brain tumor, and had to have surgery. But you know what? I just hit it head on. I said, okay, what are we going to do? Going to believe that there's good things ahead and we're going to take care of this. And you're so right, Rita. It's what our perspective is on how we move forward that makes all the difference with people. And you're right. We tend to naturally choose negative things. That's why every morning I wake up, Rita, I think positive thoughts. I push out those negative thoughts that hit all of us, that come into our brain. And I start saying, you know what? I've got this. I'm thankful and blessed, and today's going to be awesome. I believe it, and start putting those things in your head. I think that makes all the difference, right, Rita?
It does. And we're not talking about false positivity. I mean, look, every emotion is a legitimate emotion, and it is information that you need to be paying attention to. But there is a difference between taking in that emotion for the 90 seconds that it lasts and just festering in that emotion, especially when it is a negative emotion. So, I mean, one of the things that you were just talking about is expectation. And this is something that I really try to educate people about. So much of our discontent, so much of our struggle and our resistance is because we have an expectation of how things around us are supposed to be. And then when they are not that way, we allow ourselves to get all emotionally entangled in the fact that they are not the way we expect them to be. So when we expect people at work to behave in a certain way or to respond to us in a certain way, and we get something different, we feel justified in getting angry at them. That's an example. And that is our resistance to meeting them where they are. We're just resisting meeting them where they are and figuring out how to bridge the gap and putting all of the responsibility on them to meet us where we expect them to be. And once you start to understand this dynamic, you can see this happening in all areas of your life. And it's very, very powerful to start to recognize that you are not ignoring. You're allowed to be upset at somebody, but are you leaning into the upset, which isn't going to get you anywhere? Or are you recognizing the disconnect and trying to build a bridge?
And one of the things that just comes to mind as you're talking about this is, and we're in the workplace, and um, we get to choose again how we respond to people, how we respond to situations. So here in Waco, we just had the Waco Independent Film Festival. Had Elizabeth Tablish, who plays Mary Magdalene in the series The Chosen. And one of the things she talked about, and this I've never been in acting, I don't know anything about it. So uh, they're talking about how in like every scene she's crying, right? As an actor, she's in the scene and she's crying. But as she was being interviewed, it came up that said your body doesn't know the difference, that you're crying because there's some emotional event, or because you're bringing up an emotional event. And I never thought about how that would impact a person over time. But I would like to get your perspective on when we create these emotions, whether they're, we would consider them positive or negative, but certainly in the workplace, how over the long term, when you get involved in those nagging circles, or that whole thing, or you get together with the people that like, man, you come back from lunch and I'm like, man, I'm positive, I'm ready to go. As a friend of mine said, buy that person lunch next time. So what's your perspective on these emotions and how they affect us long term?
What I like to teach is, I call it the human operating system, and it's based on cognitive psychology, and it's that there are three intersecting dynamics at play constantly in our operating system. Just like your phone has an operating system, or a computer has an operating system that tells it how to operate in the day, we come pre-wired with our operating system, and it has three components. It has thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, the actions that we take. And each influence the other. So our feelings influence our thinking. And they also influence our behavioral choices. Our thinking influences how we feel, as well as the things that we do. Our behaviors and the response to those behaviors influence our thoughts and our feelings, right? So there's this dynamic that is constantly at play. And so what you are naming is that certain situations, so circumstances or people, can trigger an automatic emotional feeling in us before anything else happens. We feel something, and that feeling then sets the tone for the thinking that we have about a situation. Similarly, certain situations can evoke specific thoughts. It's like, I love playing pickleball. That's my fun thing to do. And I call them the testosterone matches, where the guys get on the court and they are just banging the ball as hard as they can at one another. And then it's open play and it's my turn to rotate in. And, the thought that I have is, oh, this is not going to be a very fun game. Right. And so if I step into the match with that thought, oh, this is not going to be very fun because this is, I can't battle with these guys. That's not the kind of game that I have. Then I am not going to enjoy that game, because I'm right off the bat, I'm setting myself up. And so it's just going to become this self-fulfilling prophecy. Mm-hmm. And this is where self-fulfilling prophecies come from, right? But if I say, oh, that's not my game, and this is going to be a challenge for me, but I'm going to get in there and I'm going to play my game and I'm going to see what I can make happen. I'm probably not going to win, but I don't care. I'm going to see what I can do in this challenging situation. Now I'm going in with a different mindset about that. And that is that choice point that we always have. in any circumstances. But what you are specifically naming, Scott, is this human operating system that happens. And what I teach is, how do you disrupt? How do you identify it? How do you interrupt it? How do you investigate so that you can figure a path forward? And then, how do you get curious?
Right.
So that you can learn and move in that circumstance.
And it really comes down to we can control our actions and our behaviors, but the emotions, the feelings are really kind of going to happen.
Yes.
Well, and
the feeling, like for the pickleball example, the feeling of sort of dread or sinking that I have, it's like, that's just information. Oh, right. This is going to be a challenging match. Now I can choose to go in like heads down and, or I can choose to be like, okay, what am I going to learn? I'm going to go play a hard match. I'm probably not going to win, but what am I going to learn from this?
Well, I want to tell you that the self-fulfilled prophecy, like you said, the way you think going into something makes such a big difference. I remember growing up playing sports my whole life. Man, when I was having a great game on that basketball court and I felt like the hoop was like 10 feet round and I could not miss, I did not miss very much because I felt like I was going to make it every time, right? I had that confidence going in. And, my daughter growing up, she started off, she was not really super athletic, but she worked so hard and was determined to do well. She was playing varsity by high school. She learned and worked and had the positive thought going forward that she could do it. And that made all the difference in the world. So our actions really, and the way we think about how we do things, make such a huge, huge difference. And I just love that. I love what you teach. People need to reach out to you, but you know what? I got to be the responsible host because the show's almost over. So I'm going to ask you, Rita.
Can I just add one more really important thing to what you're saying, Russ? And
yes.
That is, we now know about neuroplasticity. So we now have science that allows us to understand how this functions more. And what's important about neuroplasticity that we have to let the listeners know is that you can actually reflect and reimagine things that have already happened. And you can start to rewire new neural pathways of thinking and behaving in yourself by reflecting on the things that didn't go well before. So you don't have to just wait for the lived experience to come around. You can train your brain through memory as well.
Oh, yeah. And I love that because I have heard that from so many experts like you. We actually can rewire our brain based on the way we think. And so there's a lot of physical changes we can make based on what the thoughts going through our brain. So, well, listen, I'm going to turn it back to you. Give us your gold nugget of today, what you really want people to remember from our conversation, and tell them how to get in touch with you because, man, I want to know more.
Well, thank you. So I want to leave people with this statistics, and that is that 41% of the performance opportunity in your organization is wasted by friction.
Mm.
And we can easily recover 30% of that back. There's a margin of that you will never get rid of. But imagine what would be possible if you could get 30% of your performance back simply by creating and teaching and educating your people so that this friction that we've been talking about, this resistance, is minimized inside of your organization. That is the work that I'm excited and charged up to do. And you can learn more at my website, igniteextraordinary.com.
Perfect.
That is so good. And I just want to remind everybody that that is all in the show notes. Is in the comments. You can go directly to Rita. Don't even have to remember it all. And just so blessed to have you here today, Rita. I'm telling you, people need to reach out to you because the way we think makes a big difference in our lives, everybody. And it's happening every day. So get up and head yourself in a positive direction. And Rita, we're going to have you back again sometime.
Yeah, I think so. I like your statistics better than those that I got from Ellen DeGeneres, who said, we only use 70% of our brain. Imagine what we could get done if we use the other 20%.
There you go. That's it. Well, listen, Rita, we're going to let you go and say goodbye on screen, but hang tight in the green room as we wrap things up. Thanks so much for being here today.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
What fun.
Well, she's awesome. Awesome. I tell you, Scott, we do have the most amazing guests.
It's true. We're not, that's not hype and overstating when we say we have the most remarkable people on the planet right here on The Experience every Wednesday at, it's 9 a.m. here in Texas Standard Time, and 7 a.m. there on the West Coast. But I love that she kind of left us part of with the neuroplasticity. I did write about that in my book in Business Networking, a Scientific Method, and talk about the neuroplasticity. And it is important to know that we have the ability to change our brains by what we do and by those attitudes. By just, Russ, when you wake up in the morning and you focus on the positives, that is building neural pathways in your brain that carry you through the day, through the life, and impact your family.
Well, it's amazing. It's like God knew what he was doing, Scott, the way he put us together. And, there's so much healing that we can do with our bodies too, based on the way we think. And I've told everybody this before. When I started this cancer journey 4 years ago, my oncologist, my first oncologist over my treatment, told me that my positive thought and my perspective would do more for me than anything they could do, any treatment they could do, because it makes such a difference in the way your body reacts. And so, I'm a big fan of that. And we definitely got to have Rita back. So,
absolutely.
But Scott, any last words before we wrap things up for today?
I'll just remind people that I'll be speaking at the Ideas to Income Summit. You can go to ideastoincomesummit.com/DSSM. Dennis Scott Smith, MBA, DSSM, and register for free. It's coming up this month, but everybody has ideas, but take those ideas and turn them into income. So get some inspiration, and I'll be talking about how to live an intentional life. And it's Russ, a lot of the things that we talk about, habits, routines, rituals, those things that like when you wake up in the morning and you think positive thoughts, that's how you begin your day. And if you didn't do that, I know your day will just run away from you. So this is what it's free. So register, helps me out when you register. And hopefully you guys will get some good information, ideas to income summit.com/DSSM.
And all that information is right there below us and also in the comments and the show notes. And please register, everybody. We really appreciate you supporting Scott. And I tell you, this whole thought again of intentionality in all that we talk about, right? This upcoming book that Scott and I are both working on, Intentional Perspective. If you're interested, there's a few spots open still to be part of this book.
Be quick.
So contact Kathy Dirksen today on LinkedIn, Kathy Dirksen. I'll put that information in the comments, and you'll be glad you did to get more information on that. So with that, Scott, we're going to say goodbye and remind everybody we're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. This converts after we go live to a video podcast on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, then to audio podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, on and on and on, all of those. So you can view or listen. Please engage, comment, like, share. We really, really appreciate that. It helps us. And with that, Scott, we're going to say goodbye for another day. And everybody, get out there, enjoy life, and enjoy
the experience.
There you go. That's good.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.